Welcome, everyone. How's it going? I had a technical nightmare today, but I'm back from vacation, back from Yellowknife. As of last night, long flight, layover, delays, you name it. I've had it. But I'm back, and I am we're hopefully back better than ever. 220.54 sitting on Tesla right now. I see a bunch of people in the chat. Throw in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. Let me give you guys a shout out. Atlanta, Hillary, how's it going? Austin, England, Jamaica. Wow, Austin, right behind you as well. Let's see here. Yes, we got a lot to talk about. You probably saw in the title, Elon talking about buybacks. Perhaps I'm going to caveat that. Let's get into some of that here in a second. Montreal, Malibu. Richard, how's it going? Who's this? Says, I think you forgot about us. I didn't forget. Don't worry. It's I had a technical nightmare today. Stream it now. 220 has never felt so high. I mean, there's definitely portion of truth to that. As we sit here, by the way, in case you missed the trading day that was, we essentially hit a low of what, 206, 207, pretty much an hour into close. So this rally, you would look at and go, okay, well, maybe this has to do with what Elon is tweeting about, and we'll get into that here in a second. And it kind of makes you think about that. But to be honest, I think it's probably good to have some perspective here. The Nasdaq is up 2.1%. So if the Nasdaq's up 2.1% and Tesla's only up 1.6%, I would say it's underperforming the market right now. That's not to say it's going to close here, because if the Nasdaq closes up over 2%, I think probably Tesla closes up 3-ish%, 3.5% maybe, if beta's in line. So that's my thoughts here. Hold on, let me go. Oh wow, Switzerland, Denmark, Alaska, Denmark. A lot of Europeans here. I love it. When did Elon talk about buybacks? We'll talk about that in just a hot second here. Cleveland, Ohio. Chadwick, how's it going? Aberdeen, Scotland, London, UK. How's it going, John? Danbury, UK. Gentry. Okay, so what's cool is essentially today we got Elon tweeting out some stuff, or replying to. So Koguan Leo, Professor Koguan Leo, that is the biggest, if you want to say, retail Tesla investor there is. So he even clarifies himself. He has 22.8 million shares of Tesla. Huge. By the way, friend of the show, I've chatted with him via DM. I'm hoping to have him on sometime in 2023. Professor, if you've changed your mind, you want to come on earlier, the invitation is always open, my friend. Okay, so he tweeted out October 3rd saying, be extra cautious. Please catch the sharp knives with your cash, not with margin, because more storm clouds come in with scarier looking knives falling down from the dark clouds. Tesla, this part, it's important, Tesla having PE ratio compression that can only be solved with a buyback and or by multiplying your earnings times 2. So Elon replied to that today out of nowhere, 10 days later, right? Saying noted. Now, of course, Hopium is, we're all looking at the buyback part of this tweet and saying, okay, well, is Elon noting about the buybacks? Some are saying, is this about the doubling of earnings? I don't think really there's anything Elon can press a button for and just double earnings overnight. The business model is going to have to play itself out. So to me, this noted part really highlights or really speaks to the buyback part. Let me know in the chat if you agree, disagree, whatever it is. That's fine. But to me, it highlights about the buyback part. Now, I tweeted this out as well yesterday. Or I'll show you all. I said Tesla share buybacks are great. I meant to say great idea, but I ran out of characters. But they're not a one-day squeeze party like some are making it out to be. It's usually a sign of long-term. It's usually a long-term buying program that's set to signal confidence and reduce the float. If you think it'll magically increase share price, again, I meant to say overnight here, ran out of characters. I think expectations may be off. Just my 2 cents. So. And there's a lot of hot debate about buybacks and whether or not there should be some. Look, here's my opinion. I think you guys know kind of where I stand with the buyback stuff. Tesla has $18 billion in cash, free cash flow, massively positive. Lee from Tesla Economist says this, Tesla can fund a gigafactory every other quarter, right? With just the free cash that they have. The extra cash that they have is and we talk about buybacks, the extra cash that they have, it's not like they need it, and it's not like it's not like it's a limitation on their capex. I forget what their PPE line is, but Tesla is steadily growing their investment pool. They can fund new gigafactories with the free cash they're already getting out of operations. They don't need that massive pool of liquidity per se. Now, here's the thing: when buybacks happen, if you guys don't know, like for example, like Google or Apple set a buying program, I think up in 2013 or something like that, right? They raised some debt via bonds, and then they use that to purchase back shares intermittently. Google does this a lot too. You'll hear post earnings on Google, and they'll say, you know, we've been, we have X billion dollars worth of buybacks this quarter, and we're going to continue to buy back throughout the quarter intermittently. So it's not like a one day squeeze party, but it's overall really good, especially if we talk about reducing the float. You guys know that I have my back of the napkin Tesla valuation that I talk about on the channel a lot here. Let me just pull this up. Let's see here. Where buybacks affect your market valuation, right? In a really crude way. So and this is my valuation, I have a video out on it. Go watch it if you want me to walk through this. Cars sold in 2025, let's say 4.7 revenue off of that based on the ASP of 50K. Sorry for moving around so much here. So profit based on that 20%, let's say adjusted EBITDA, market cap based on the PE. And then remember, when you take your market cap and then you're going to divide it by outstanding share count, that's where share price comes in, right? And so if you talk about outstanding share count, where do I have it here? I have outstanding shares 3.13. I think I pulled this from Yahoo Finance a couple of weeks ago. 3.13 million, right? 3.13 million. So if you talk about buybacks, it's essentially what you're fighting almost is stock-based comp. As stock-based comp continues to rise, and you can argue whether or not it's a real expense or not. As that continues to increase the outstanding share count, buybacks can offset that, even negate that, right? And so if Tesla were to be on a trajectory where now instead of 3.13 million shares outstanding, there was going to be 3.33 million shares, billion shares, outstanding. You can see what effect that has to the price target that you may have on Tesla, 506 versus 539. So the buying program offsets some of the outstanding shares, right? That's the way to look at it. Okay, so back to Weevil, 220.77. Let's read some comments here. Brian, how's it going, my friend? I'm not interested in a buyback, but it is a very good price. Yeah, we should do some EPS calculations based on that. Richard said, I think cash now is risky in terms of a buyback. That's fair. I've seen this sentiment online a lot where, okay, well, if there's more force majeures to come, if there's more liquidity events, if there's more factory shutdowns, shouldn't Tesla keep piling their cash? And that's a fair argument. That's a really fair argument to have. Yes, that's fair. Like that argument I have more time for, right? Because if you're saying Tesla's going to have to pull out of their cash reserves and then go from there, but I'm just saying it's a little bit suspicious that S&P all of a sudden re-rated their debt, and now we potentially may hear about bonds being issued for buybacks. I mean, like that's something to watch for, in my opinion here. Apple buys back $80 billion each year. I'm not sure what the exact number is. I can pull it up. And by the way, for everyone that says in the I see this on Twitter so much. It's really annoying. Oh, buybacks mean essentially it's the same as issuing a dividend to shareholders. No, it's not. It's very different, right? And yes, in 2021, Apple bought back $85.5 billion worth of Apple stock while issuing $14.5 billion in dividends. That's different, right? And by the way, when Apple issued their buybacks, I believe they announced a dividend at that point as well. Let me see what year that was. I want to say that was 2014. Let's see here. Apple, maybe it was 2013. Apple extends capital return program over 130 billion. That was in 2014. Apple today announced that its board of directors has authorized another significant increase to the company's program to return capital to shareholders. The company expects to utilize a total of over 130 billion in cash under the program by the end of 2015. So it's 1 year from this note. Additionally, the board has increased the company's quarterly dividend as well. So remember, Tesla is not where Apple was when they issued it, no doubt. Just in terms of cash on hand, where they were in their scale, but Tesla's not that far out from there, I would argue, either, right? Let's see here. Bruce says they'll need cash for robo-taxi construction and insurance. I'm betting that robo-taxi with Tesla owned and self-insured, no buyback in the near term. Well, just run the math on that. How much would that cost in your eyes? And feel free to leave a comment in terms of what that would cost, because Tesla has more than enough cash to do both, and also, like Alex says, bonds for shares makes more sense. Sanji says chatter on Twitter is that Tesla should build up cash reserves to 80 to 100 billion. I mean, fair enough. Again, this is why we're having this debate, because retail investors may disagree. Board has their own opinion. It really doesn't matter what we think. To be fair, the board of directors has to make their decision based on that. Charles says they're losing 8% a year on cash held. That's fair with inflation, which is why I think with bonds, I continue to think issuing bonds and then doing a buyback, definitely not dividends. Makes sense. Don says, shouldn't Tesla free cash be used for forward cash incentive projects like Optimus? It's going to eat cash like a fat kid. I'm guessing you meant to say fat kid for the next 3 or 4 years before the first chance of profits arrive. First of all, as a fat kid, I definitely get that analogy, or I was a really fat kid, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, again, everyone that says this, I just, let's have a conversation. What number do you put on R&D? What number do you put on CapEx for those projects? Just feel free to toss it. And I would reckon it's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. So, like, how much is the bot really going to eat? And again, remember, this doesn't mean buybacks are necessarily for sure coming. By the way, the fact that we can even have a conversation that Tesla is in a position to do buybacks is such a great sign for a company this young, right? Very good sign for a company this young. It's still early innings, though. It is still early innings. So there's that. Mimi, how's it going? Alex says, Boom Rama says she was advocating for a credit rating because of the buyback. That, and also Alexandra wanted pension funders to be able to have exposure to Tesla, whereas they couldn't before, right? So chat says, I selfishly want a dividend. I'm tapped out. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I'd probably put a less than 0.5% chance of that happening in the next 2 or 3 years. Mark says, Yash, 1.46% is considered rallying. In this market, yes, Mark, it is, apparently. But to be fair, when I wrote that, it was up 2%. So, it is what it is. You can't really predict much more than that. V says 4680 more important than buybacks. For sure. But how much are 4680s, and what's the CapEx, and what's Tesla's free cash flow currently, right? That's the conversation that needs to be had. So 220.60 sitting on Tesla. Let's talk about inflation on that note, shall we? I pulled up this Ross Gerber tweet here, a photo of a screenshot. And essentially, it's the month-over-month changes. And you can see 0.4% September CPI. CPI for all urban consumers came out, seasonally adjusted, that is. So CPI came in a little bit hotter than expected. But I did see some reaction on Twitter that said, and actually I tried pulling up a Jim Cramer reaction video to it, but I couldn't get my audio to work. That was part of the problem I was having. But, I was reading some analysis on it. And to be honest, I've been so disconnected from the market for the last 2 or 3 trading days. Well, actually more than that, last 4 or 5 trading days at this point, that I've kind of missed the boat on everything. But I was reading some analysis on Twitter about okay, if you seasonally adjust a lot of the goods in the CPI, and you just track those individually, you can see inflation has actually peaked and actually is coming down. But if you take the headline number, obviously it's versus expectations, it came in a little bit hotter. And so if you talk about why are we rallying today with inflation coming in hotter than expected, first of all, I think it's important to highlight how bad the NASDAQ has done in the last few trading days, past week here, pretty much. Pretty much since the Friday, the last stream I had, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just been ugly in the markets. The Nasdaq's been down massively. S&P down as well. But SP, whoa, actually, I didn't realize SP is up 2.4% today. It's actually higher than the NASDAQ. That's weird. NASDAQ's up 2%, and Tesla's only, I guess, if you want to say only, up 1.5% so far on the day. Is it Friday? No, not yet. Not yet, unfortunately. Well, actually, this week's an entire blur for me. Like, I can't believe it's Thursday today. It can't. It's literally like a Monday for me. So, let's see here. Appreciate that, Gonzalo. My pleasure. Ibrahim says dividend is a dream. I wouldn't even say it's a dream. I think if Tesla issued a dividend right now, it'd be absolutely objectively the wrong move right now. It's not even a dream. It's kind of a nightmare if you think about it right now as a Tesla investor. But there's like no chance that's going to happen. In the next, I'd say comfortably in the next 3 years for sure. 5 years, who knows? 5 years is a long time. But 3 years, I think for sure, there's no chance of a dividend. Just keeps, yeah, exactly. Was CPI today or tomorrow? CPI was this morning. Charles makes a good point. Put a buyback in place just to provide a floor and protect from shorts from exploiting FUD. There's an argument to be made about that. Yes, for sure. Because if you look at the success of a company like Apple, the reason why they've done so well is because of their buyback program. That's why they're currently a $2.27 trillion companies, because they buy back so much stock. And also, like you say, Charles, it decentivizes shorts from trying to manipulate. But the anti-argument to that, the counterpoint to that, I should say, is that, I mean, Tesla's too big of a market cap at this point, 700 billion, for there to really, I mean, unless it's at an institutional level, like massively across the scale, it's hard to really have the same effect even a couple of years ago that shorts could have. And also being in the S&P 500 helps, right? Friday for New Zealand. Are you in New Zealand? Really? No, you're not, right? Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. With the problem with the CPI report today was that now it kind of paves the way, and I'm even getting like a little bit like antsy talking about it. So PCE report comes out end of the month. We know that the Fed cares about the PCE way more than the CPI. Don't forget that. Everyone talks about inflation, but everyone forgets to talk about the Fed cares about the PCE report way more than they care about the CPI. Let me just see the date. When's the next one coming out? Personal Consumption Index, October 28th. Okay, October 28th. That's when it's coming out. Now, the next FOMC is meeting schedule. Let's see here. The next FOMC is what month are we? November 1st and 2nd. Okay, so November 1st and 2nd. That's good. So if PCE end of the month, this month, comes in better than expected, going into FOMC, there could be talk at least about being more data dependent and potentially talking about stabilizing at least rates. Remember, the pivot is different than stabilizing rates where they are. The problem is, I really think in my heart of hearts, the Fed is at the brink, if not even maybe even a little bit over in the margin of error, let's say, but on the brink of an epic policy error. Yeah, lots of people think they're already past that at this point, but I think they're within the margin of error at it at this point. A 30-year mortgage rate is over. Was it over 7%? Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I saw it this morning. Over 7%. So we're in my opinion at this point, like we're dangerously close to an epic policy error. Epic. So we talk about earnings, we talk about a million things, but man, like we got to talk about macro and really close to it. So the saving grace really might be PCE comes up better than expected, and the Fed finally sees the light. Right. That's I think where we are right now. Volume on the day is 73 million. Yeah, that's massive. That's huge. Very nice, Gentry. Sunday, Thursday. Hours must suck on those then. Ty says, Yash, your thoughts on Ross Gerber's tweet? The 2-year moved up to 4.4%. If Fed will invert the yield on the first recession priced in, does that mean he sees a potential pause? I'll pull it up right now. By the way, Ross is invited on channel. I think he knows that. He doesn't have DMs open. I remember a couple months ago, you guys helped me. You guys liked my reply to it. This one, I think you're saying. He says the 2 years moved up to 4.4%, close to where the Fed wants it to go. Close-ish. I think they want it to go to like 4.6, I think. The Fed will invert the curve for real on November 1st. So what he means by this is when they raise 75 basis points or whatever, the 2 versus the 10 is going to be inverted. The recession is priced in with an expected 20% decline in earnings next year. That's what's priced in. So if that doesn't happen, he's implying we're going to see some upside. What is the 2-year at? Let me pull that up as we sit here and chat. Let's see here. Someone says, where's Michael Burry? I have no idea, to be honest. Does anyone know? Does anyone care? I don't care. Okay. Let's take a look at the 2-year. Did I just add it into my chart? No, I don't want to add it in. US 0-2-year. Damn it. I added it into my chart. Hold on. The reason why I can't figure this out right now, hold on, is not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I'm staring right into my eye. It's staring into my soul. Okay, here it is. Sorry. US 0-2 yearly government bonds. This is the futures. Hold on. Let's do the yield. So yeah, actually we peaked out around 4.6 today. And I think the Fed's plot curve also says 4.6 is their end of year baseline target. So yeah, I think we're pretty close to it. Oh, where's Mr. Blueberry? Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm telling you, like the lights are hard today for me. I thought you meant Michael Burry. Sorry. Where's Farzad? I don't know. Where's Farzad? Someone go tweet at him. He's welcome to come on the stream right now. Farzad, if you're listening, let me send him a link. I'm going to send him a link. Shall we invite him on? Stay tuned, folks. You never know what's going to happen on stream here. Literally. All right, let's do it. Okay. Oh, did I just show everyone my DMs? Oh, shit. Okay. I did not mean to do that. Get Gary Black. You guys gotta make it happen. I've already tried. He didn't reply to my DMs nor my messages when you guys. I think we got like 200 likes too on my comments. So I think the secret is Alexandra. She's the secret. Gary Black whisperer. 219.38. We're up only 1% at this point. T Deli says, question, how do you see Tesla stock price reacting if the quarter 3 numbers are stellar next Wednesday? Good question. First of all, define stellar. I think the street is at, actually, you know who would have these numbers right now. By the way, thanks for joining me on such an impromptu stream. I don't know if I already mentioned that or not, but thank you. It's a Thursday at 11:30 Pacific. We're trying to make sense of the market. You guys could be anywhere, but you guys are here talking with me. Let's look at the earnings estimate. I'm sure Gary has it at some point here. Let me pull it up. Okay, he's talking about Twitter. Don't really care about Twitter, to be honest. This is his yearly China volume production. Okay, I'll just talk about it ad hoc. Then hold on. Everything's about Twitter. Okay, forget about it. So I think Street's at $1.06. Okay, $1.09. Okay, you guys, perfect. Thank you. So $1.09 is the whisper number. If that's the whisper number, anything over that is really where we talk about upside, right? But here's where I look at it. Like, I think Good Soil, Matt Smith, and Emmett, of course, is there. I think they're around $1.30, something like that. I'll pull up Matt's tweet. So the way I look at it is, if let's say we get close to $1.50 adjusted non-GAAP, right? Then annualize it, or though, yeah, right here they're at $1.32 versus Wall Street consensus of $1.01. So okay, so Street's at $1.01, whisper number, buy side is 109. $1.32 is what Matt's projecting for EPS. Matt's very, very predictable with he's very predictable, I think, with his earnings estimates. So I think Tesla at this point, if you talk about like quarter four, I continue to go to quarter four. I don't even annualize quarter three as much, but if you annualize quarter four, let's say quarter four, they get to closer to $2 EPS, right? Closer to $2 EPS. Let's say $8 is what's annualized for the next 12 months, right? So just play with me here for a second. Let's say quarter four EPS comes in non-GAAP adjusted $2. So next year, fiscal year 2023, we're looking at an $8 annualized rate for EPS, and that's no growth. Let's say if Tesla grows their EPS 0%, we're still looking at $8 for next year, right? Currently, as Tesla sits here at $219 divided by 8, that's a 27, 28 PE forward 1 year, right? And that's with no growth. Let's say instead of $8 next year, if they do $2 in quarter four, that gets them to $8 next year. Let's say they grow EPS 50%. So they get to $12 EPS next year. At $219, a $12 EPS, that's forward PE of 18.25. 18.25 for a company that's growing EPS over 100% every single quarter, and they're growing, let's say they're growing revenues top line 80%. Just doesn't make any sense. That's like a peg of like 0.3 or something. It's just massive. Actually, Richard's ran some numbers for us. Matt's average miss is only by 17% compared to an average of 50% across the board. Nice, very nice. Yes, I mean it's really hard. It's really hard to project EPS. Deliveries, I would say, is a little bit easier. Not easy, but easier. But EPS is just it's a gong show. And remember, EPS could be massively fluctuated because of revenue recognition, because of tax breaks. Let's say if they take that tax deferred tax benefit that they have, which I think they're probably going to wait until the end of the year for. So we'll see. 219.40 sitting on Tesla here. I have no idea. John makes a great point. Due to the strong dollar, will Tesla take a hit on currency exchange? Yes, massively, John. Massively, I think. Because remember, everything is GAAP, right? So, or IFRS or whatever. But when you have revenues and profits in China and they're under yuan, and then the US dollar appreciates versus the yuan, then all of a sudden your same profit at an absolute level is not the same. So yes, they're going to take a FX hit for sure. No doubt about it. Yes. How confident are you that Tesla demand will hold up in 2023? That's the elephant in the room, in my opinion. That's a fair look. I think it's 100% a fair argument or a fair debate to have, right? With how will Tesla demand do next year? And I'll give my reason here in a second. But let's just crack numbers right for a second. 1.4 million cars delivered in 2022 is their aim. They might get to 1.3 something is my guess, right? 1.35, 1.375, 1.4 maybe even, right? So and I'll pull up my calculator here again because it's one of those days. It feels like a Monday to me. So 1.4 million, 50% growth for next year is a 2.1 million goal. Now, remember, and it's not so important right now, but I think one thing to keep in mind is, remember, Tesla's goal of growth is not 50% over every year. It's 50% in the long haul. So yes, it is true that 1.4 is the goal this year, and then next year is 2.1. But let's say if they did, for example, 1.6 million this year. I'm just going to try to make a point here. If they did 1.6 million this year, that doesn't mean their goal next year is 50% over that 1.6 if they overdid it this year, right? I think it's an important distinction to make moving forward. But the question is, can Tesla sell 2.1 million cars next year? And if so, where are they going to be made? Yes, I think so. I think if you look at the demand, because look, no one's guaranteeing prices are going to stay at the current levels they are right now. Maybe they get to a point, and February, March, April, where they look, okay, the $7,500 credit has kicked in. The Model 3 and Y are really popular, but we need more volume out of the S and X, or maybe the Model Y perform. They can have certain trims that they look at, maybe in China, and they go, look, we want to reduce the price by $2,500, $3,000. I forget who tweeted it out today, but someone had a chart of Tesla price increases over the last year and a half. And Tesla's prices are dramatically higher than where they were a year and a half ago. So if they give back some of that price back to consumers, I have no issue with it. And I think they'll be met with a lot more demand. So that's where I stand out with demand. There's no doubt that Tesla still has demand at the marginal level today across the board, but Tesla's price elasticity is so high, it's inelastic in my opinion. But you can make the argument that it's even if it was super sensitive, if you reduce the price by 3,000 or 4,000, that would kick in another 100,000 orders, 200,000 orders, 300. You can work with demand here. So we're not even close to where, for example, where we got our car in 2020 December. I consider ourselves super blessed and lucky, really, that we got our car in December 2020. Because at these prices, even you guys know, I talk about this all the time with the prices that, cars sit at right now, it's just ridiculous. I look at the prices on Tesla in Canada and I'm like, God, that is so high. And remember, this is from me who I actually bought this car, right? So let's go to Canada here. So Model 3 standard range plus now is 60 grand. It's actually 64 grand. You can't really see it here. But everything all included, they used to advertise this price, but they stopped advertising this price. I don't know why, but it's actually 64 grand. God forbid you want to add a color in on there, and then you pay tax on this. It's quickly not become an entry level car at this point. But that being said, the amount of demand that there still is for this car at this price should tell you something, right? And so that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. I think it's expensive, and yet people are still buying it hand over fist. What does that tell you? That the market values it incredibly higher, right? So, hey, Adukin, congrats. Paid off my 2019 Model 3 long range last week. Very nice. Now you can drive for free. Thank you. I appreciate that. Richard said, I even saw a 3 million estimate for 2023. 1.2 Shanghai, which actually is not, it's not terribly off. Okay. So they're already at a million run rate. 1.2. Okay. 800 Fremont. Okay. I don't know about 800 Fremont. I don't know if that's possible, to be honest. 600 and 400 Berlin Austin. I don't recall the order. That's very like that's too high. Like Fremont's too high there, and for Berlin and Austin to do 600K first year of ramp, 50K a month when they're doing 2K a week, 8K a month at the moment. I just don't see it. I don't see it yet. I mean, I'd happily be wrong on that. Charles says, consider how much older average age of a fleet is with COVID, war, recession. So much demand held back. It's an interesting point. That is interesting. Shrog says, "Damn, I paid 45K in December 2020." That's what I'm saying. It is kind of crazy, to be honest. But like that's exactly the point I'm trying to make, though. You know, at one end, I'm trying to say, look, it's so expensive. It's actually crazy. And on the other hand, I'm saying, despite me thinking how expensive and crazy this is right now, there is quite literally people waiting months for this, waiting a long time for these cars. What does that tell you? You know, so like I specifically know people that want to buy a Tesla, but are still convincing themselves that the price is going to come back to where it's a little bit more affordable for them. So they're just riding out their beater cars for now, right? I know a lot of people that have told me, I don't care if it's Tesla, but my next car is an electric. And remember, an electric car sold doesn't mean a non-Tesla electric car sold doesn't mean it's a non-Tesla sale. Our first EV was a Nissan Leaf. We didn't come into the Tesla universe until like a year and a half, 2 years later, after driving the EV, getting comfortable with it, you know, looking at the range, going, this kind of sucks, or looking at looking at the power of the car, be like, yeah, it could be better. And so when the Nissan Leaf got totaled, it was just kind of like, okay, well, we're like, my family's like, we're going electric, like we're not going back to a gas car. By the way, I'm going to tell you a pretentious story. I was at we were in Yellowknife, and I'm at the budget. I'm at the budget rent a car, and we rented a Ford Escape 2021. It was a decent car. It was like a nice average car. But man, when I tell you this, and I'm sorry, it's going to sound so pretentious and stupid and whatever, but once you drive like EVs all the time, one pedal driving, it's just so hard to go back to ICE cars. It's hard, man. You don't have the one pedal driving. You don't have the instant acceleration, and kind of with the instant torque. It's just, look, I'm not saying this to be pretentious. I'm just saying that once you drive an EV and that's your muscle memory, I don't care if it's a Nissan Leaf, I don't care if it's a Chevy Bolt. It's just it's hard to go back. It really felt like I was going back 20 years. And that was a nice Ford Escape 2020. So Ford lovers, don't come at me with all this hate. I'm saying it was like a nice-ish car, good size SUV. So yeah. Hey, Nick in the chat. Investing against grade. Tesla will be at 2 million run rate end of the year. They will clearly accelerate as 2023 progresses. Greater than 2 million, very likely, in my opinion. 2.1 makes sense. Hey, Nick, if you're not at work, feel free to come on stream if you want for a little bit. I'm not sure how long I'll keep the stream going, but I'll send you a DM. If you're at work, no worries. Let me see here. All right. Let's see. 21980 sitting on Tesla here. Did you see the Northern Lights in Yellowknife? Thanks for asking, Hillary. I will show you some unsolicited, I should say. Let's see here. Photos. Let's see here. Yes, indeed. The mission was accomplished in Yellowknife. The mission was accomplished in Yellowknife. Saw the Northern Lights. It was cool. It was really cold. We were actually really upset the first night. So we were there 3 nights. To be honest, I didn't want to go there for 3 nights. I wanted to go there for 2 nights. But we were doing the research and we're like, damn, if we go there for 2 nights, and we catch a bad weather system, we're screwed. We're going there for the Northern Lights. If we go there for 2 nights, like if we go there for 2 versus 3, our chances grow exponentially. So like, damn, okay, fine, we'll just bite the bullet. I don't really want to stay there for 3 nights, 4 days. No offense, Yellowknife. It was an interesting city, but I didn't want to go there for 3 nights. But I did, and I shit you not. So the first night we booked the tour. Okay, yeah, real Canadian now. Thank you. So first night we booked a tour with the tour company to go aurora hunting. Okay. Stupid. Bad mistake. They started at 10 p.m. They picked us up from the hotel. We drove like an hour and a half one way to like the middle of nowhere, right? Trying to see, but it was just so cloudy. We were trying to beat out the clouds, could not see it. We felt so stupid. You felt very stupid. Pay like $300 for this tour. Like, what are we doing? Like, we have a rented car. Let's just do this ourselves. Like, I think we'll have better odds. So the next night, we scrapped the whole tour idea, and we essentially were like, look, we can find these lights ourselves, probably better. So I pulled up the Weather Network app, and I looked at the cloud systems, and I started becoming a meteorologist. I'm pretty sure I got my degree there in the last couple of days. Started looking at all the flows and where the clouds were going. I started seeing where there might be cold fronts. Anyways, not going to get into it. But we're like, okay, we're going to camp out at this lake from 6 p.m. onwards. We don't know if the cloud systems are going to roll in by the time it gets really dark, but at least we'll see some of the auroras here at this time. And I shit you not, if we had booked a tour, we would have missed it for sure, because the tour starts at 10. We saw the majority of our Northern Lights between 9 and 10. So if anyone is going Northern Lights hunting, I recommend doing it yourself. I'm not 7 feet. No, I'm 6'4". On a good day. Abby likes to give me a lot of crap about that. She's like, you're not 6'4". I tell her on a good day I am with my Blundstones. So let's see here. Okay. All righty, let's see here. 220-35 sitting on Tesla. You guys are hilarious. Alrighty. Paul says, I did 2 weeks in Iceland. I didn't see any Northern Lights. My drive home at Edmonton, Saskatoon were some of the best I've ever had. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so hit or miss. Yes. Alrighty. 220-21 said non-Tesla here. Let's see here. What do we got going on? Let's see here. Color source. Alrighty. Sanju says it's a Bigfoot joke. I'm waiting. It's okay. I don't really take much offense to stuff, to be quite honest. Feel free to offend me. That's what I've learned, man, I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to. And this is not about you, Sanju, of course. The reward to hate ratio of being a content creator is not very high. Like, I love the community that we've built. I'm super stoked every time we talk about Tesla. We get together, talk about the markets, we try to get better together. I love it, to be honest. How many people are in the chat right now? All 500 people here on a random Thursday that I announced this like 20 minutes before I streamed. I love it. But I'll tell you, as a content creator, and all content creators could probably relate to this, the reward to hate ratio is not worth it. Like, the amount of unsolicited hate you get is just nuts. But that's just the way it goes. What is Elon replying to now? When you're home alone doing weird shit and you hear the key in the door. Elon is back on his meme game. I'm kind of done reading the tea leaves on the meme game at this point. I thought the meme game or all the memes before Q3 delivery report was bullish. Oh, I see NT on Discord saying, I bet Yash missed his Juju gang on his recent time away from all of us. I did. I really did. To be honest, I did. I was gonna live stream from Yellowknife, but honestly, my reception was just so garbage. I was like, no, there's no way I'm gonna stream here. What research? I forget what I was saying about research now. Are we guessing? You guys want to play a closing price guessing game for 12 p.m.? Not power hour, not actual closing, but when I sign off. We can actually no. Let's do actual closing price because I don't know how we're gonna track 12 p.m. what we closed at. Yeah, feel free to because I'm not gonna be streaming power hour. I don't think, unless some big fat news comes out or something. I'm gonna go to the coffee shop with my laptop. I'm gonna go work. I actually miss working. Can you believe that? Thank you, Sanju. Best group on Discord. Awesome. It's true. The Discord crew kept me together. You guys filled me in the whole time what was happening. I was living vicariously through Tesla. Wasn't able to watch, but I appreciate you guys. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll throw in my guess as well. So, and again, remember, this is Price is Right rules. You have to be at or under to win this thing. You're guessing for today's close, not 12 p.m. Today's close. Okay. What's high of day? I'm feeling optimistic today. 222.99. The first day back. 222.99 is the high. I'm gonna go 224 flat closing on the day. I'm gonna throw my comment there in the chat. Yes, I'm gonna throw that in. I'm feeling optimistic today. The Nasdaq's up 2.24%. Tesla's only up 1.27%. You know, we're underperforming, no doubt, right now. I'm not convinced it's going to stay that way till close. I'm not convinced it'll stay that way till close. Thank you, Holden. Holden also asks, is there any precedent for a company to tie their stock buyback amount to stock comp and issue new shares each quarter for employees? Like basically stock-based comp and say, look, for every share issued, we're going to be buying that back. I don't think it's tied that way because the way that usually I think, and feel free if someone correct me if I'm wrong, is usually with buybacks, the wording will be something like, we've initiated a program for buybacks, 5 billion shares that we'll buy, or $5 billion worth of shares that we'll buy intermittently throughout the quarter, throughout the year, or in the next 2 years. Like that's usually the way the wording is. Here, hold on. Actually, I'll pull this up. But what I'll do here, let's do some research. Hold on one second. So the best indication of what may happen in the future, potentially, come on, it's telling me to turn off my ad block. One sec. Is to see what companies have done in the past. Remember, Elon, Google, pretty tight. Okay, Alphabet said on Tuesday that the board of directors authorized $7 billion in share repurchases. That's a big step up from the authorization last year of $50 billion and $25 billion in 2019. And I want to read the wording in the SEC filing more than what CNBC has to say here. Hold on. Yeah, cut off top of the hour for sure. 100%. Hold on. I want to see the SEC filing. Do they link it? No, I talk about COVID. Where is it? Ad rebound. Forget it. They don't talk about it. Anyways, but the point is that it's really up to their discretion, right? And I guess it really doesn't matter too much where the shares come from. If they, so yeah. but here's what I'll say. I think the more interesting part is not the buybacks, but the bond issuance. If there's a bond issuance, and that explains why S&P on a random Thursday morning upgraded Tesla to investment grade. If there's a bond if there's a bond purchase happening, That is going to be the interesting part. Tesla has $18 billion on their balance sheet at the moment. I can pull it up here. Balance sheet, cash equivalents, 18.92 billion. I think I I am on I am on I'm on the fence, but I'm right now I'm leaning towards keep stacking up the cash. Keep stacking up the cash. Feel free to issue bonds, raise some debt if you want to do buybacks. But yes, keep stacking up. Keep stacking this up. Dave says, when's the first day of buybacks being allowed? Well, I wouldn't really say there's a day. Usually you'll hear about this post earnings. So on the earnings call, you hear, or in the filing, in the SEC filing, Tesla board of directors has authorized this much in whatever for buybacks, X amount of billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, whatever it is. That's what you usually hear. And then when they buy is really up to them and kind of up to their discretion. I even think, by the way, warrants have to fill into this a little bit. Hold on. Probably should do more research on warrants too. The warrant repurchase program. Hold on. Someone would know this. If someone's like a financial nerd, they would know all the ins and outs of this. But they could issue warrants as well. Hold on one sec. Remember, warrants are just like options, except the proceeds go straight to the company, right? So, anyways, I'm not going to get into the minutia of this, especially because I guess it doesn't really matter for now, but we'll see. It just means the audio quiet. Hopefully my audio is okay. I was having some difficulties here. Saskatchewan, how's it going? I guess the market really couldn't do 5 straight days of red days. So apparently we're having a kind of a relief rally, if you want to call it that, today. I don't feel very comfortable with this rally just yet. I don't know. I don't want to say it feels like a dead cat bounce, but it just doesn't feel like there's strength in the continuation upwards just yet. Oh, yikes. Hold on. Okay. Weevil's giving me a hard time. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, the whole inflation metric, like I know the Fed doesn't care about CPI too much, care about PCE more, but I'm telling you, like, I am genuinely worried now about this policy error, because I don't think it's a small policy error either. I think we're within the margin of error of a huge policy mistake, and that really worries me. Market wide. I guess there's still room for this to work itself out, but man, it's tough. Because look at the housing market too. I don't want to get into the housing market. I guess I can go on for hours on that, but we're very close, folks. Like it could get ugly if the Fed really just messes it up, and I don't think we're that far away from that happening, to be honest. Anyways, though, actually, so I feel like I didn't really fully answer the question 9 years later, but someone asked me about quarter 3 earnings and stock price reaction post that. I just don't see how Tesla continues to trade at such a low PE, forward PE. I get it. Multiples are going to get compressed, but if you look at PEG ratios on companies, it's hard to find one, especially like Tesla, during the like, let's say if we go into a recession for the next 18 months, right? If we go into a recession for the next 18 months, auto sales are going to decline aggregate, but I argue that there's going to be a massive amount of relative strength in the EV sector of the auto market. Now, if there's relative strength in the EV sector of the auto market during this recession, because remember, this recession is different. There in 2008, 2009, there were no EVs to look at for consumers, and this recession is also different because gas prices are so incredibly high. So if there's relative strength in the EV market, yes, aggregate demand may go down for general consumer goods or auto or whatever, but the relative strength is really what you should look at. And I continue to think that like EVs will do well, and specifically Tesla. So yeah, exactly, 7%. Like it's just it's like, are we watching a slow motion train wreck, or are the train is the train are the trains going to miss each other by inches? Like, it really feels like we're like massively close to a huge policy error within that margin of error, which is really what worries me now. Because to be honest, what I was wrong about most was I had thought by now we would have seen a massive cooling of inflation, um, like dramatically so. And I still think by the end of the year, like we're definitely on track with that, with the way that the interest rates are climbing. It's just a matter of time. But it just worries me that it hasn't gone down as fast as maybe we had hoped. So Vasil says, react to Chicken's video about Tesla to 140. I think James Stevenson did a great job. You should go watch his video. And also Warren Redlick, I think, did a great job, a great breakdown. I don't think I would add too much outside of what they've already said in between. Here's my general opinion. Like my general like one paragraph answer to that is, anyone, by the way, anyone can have a price target. It doesn't matter. Like I see a lot of hate that people have for people that may have price targets lower than other people or think the market's going to go down. Nothing wrong with it. Like they have their own opinion. That's fine. Like it's good. It's healthy for us to have these debates. Otherwise, if we don't have debates, we're just kind of living in this echo chamber, right? So that's the caveat. But here's the thing with the $140 price target. It just feels like to me, that there's no backing to that number. Like it just feels like he picked 420 for the memes and then just made it post split. Like what I really wanted to see was quantitatively speaking, like value metric speaking, how do you get there? Because at $140, if Tesla does $10 EPS next year, at $140, that's 14 PE forward 1 year. Like I just want to see what EPS is he projecting for next year, or what discount factor is he having from 2025 backwards? What discount rate is he applying? What's the earnings looking like? And I guess what PE or what peg is he putting on that? That's that's the biggest thing, is like I need to see like the back end financial metrics to understand where that's coming from. Because to me, the video just talked about general market. By the way, we've officially closed Tesla closing price guesses here. Because to me, like Ken's video, and by the way, I've been a huge fan of Ken and Chicken Genius, right? And still am, even though I don't agree. Like it's okay, we can have differing opinions. But here's the thing: is like the majority of the points in that video were not really like, okay, I see interest rates going to 8%, so my discount rate is at 15%, and so I think next year EPS is actually not going to be $8; it's going to be $5. And according to that, this is why I think this. Or I think 2025 Tesla is not going to sell 4.7. I think Tesla is going to sell 3. Okay, so we can work off of that, disagree or agree on certain points, and just like kind of have this argument, right? That's kind of where I'm at with that. I just feel like throwing 140 or throwing $420 as just kind of like out there, which again, he has all of the right to do. It really is his life. Like no one should be attacking him for it. Is just I just don't see where that number comes from. So that's kind of my and by the way, it just seems like we're talking about trading here a little bit more, which you guys know, like on this channel, the majority of people that watch here on this channel are invaders, right? Investors and traders. So I have no issues with trading. I just didn't think Ken was a trader, really. Like I know he had his Itchy Fingers account and then his long-term account. I just didn't know that he was a trader. So I think what happened was a lot of people that watched this content, this awesome content over the years, talked about, okay, well, we're talking about long-term DCA only, and then now all of a sudden we're talking about trading. So I think there was a disconnect there with the people watching. So I think that was part of it. I don't think anything was wrong about it. I just think there might have been a disconnect between his trading viewpoints and maybe his long-term viewpoints. So, yeah, exactly. Marcus says the interesting thing is the model behind the price target, not the number itself. Yeah, like for me, exactly. Like I think throwing a number out there is just kind of what it is. But yeah, no, I agree. And if Ken were to say like, look, Yash, I think next year EPS is $5. 2025 Tesla sells 2.5 million cars only, and therefore I think today Tesla is not worth this, but it's actually worth this. Okay, we can agree to disagree. We can have an argument, but just saying like the market's crap, it's just hard to rationalize that. So, I mean, that's part of it as well, right? Like honestly, this is exactly why like it makes no sense to me. Even when we're hitting all-time highs, we were talking about this often. We were talking about this on streams or in the communities. Like, don't like when we're hitting all-time highs, people were often shunning people for selling their options or selling their shares. Remember, no one can really tell you anything about your portfolio other than yourself. If you have to, like, your risk rewards personally as a family maybe are up to you. You really have to weigh yourself accordingly to that. So don't feel like you have to hold or don't feel like you have to sell just because people are telling you or you have to buy. Like, do your own risk reward analysis, figure out what works for you. Try to take in as much information as you possibly can that's hopefully good quality and make your own decision. But don't feel like peer pressured either way, really, when we're hitting all-time highs. So, yes. Anyways, rant over. I still think Ken's a good guy. I don't like people hating on other people for stuff like that. But yeah, I go back to the point. I would just like to see the model. That's it. Like, and we can agree, disagree. No problem. It's fine. I like. Why are we so Why are we so divisive as a group? Not us, by the way. Like, I think the Juju Gang is probably, I'm gonna say, like, I think we're the best Tesla community. Don't tell other people. Personally, I think we're one of the best, healthiest communities out there. At least I hope so. But just on Twitter, people that don't even watch his content hating on him, like, I just don't like to see that. So I'm getting hungry. Mark, I agree. I'm getting hungry too. It's 12 o'clock. I haven't eaten all day. I haven't eaten since like 6 p.m. last night, I think. So yeah, exactly. Derek K says Ken's a nice guy. We need to illustrate better ways to disagree and debate instead of argue. Yeah, and to be fair, like, YouTube is not the usually like what I'm doing here. What we're doing here is so unique. We're going back and forth. We're having debates. We're having arguments. You guys are sending me info. We're having a mini conversation, right? The only way we could probably get closer is if we were on a Zoom call or something. But when we talk about YouTube, 99% of people on YouTube don't stream, right? They don't talk in the comments. So all that really happens is essentially you put out a video and then you read a bunch of comments about why people hate you and whatnot. And then it goes back and forth, right? Like, that's it. So it's probably not, and Twitter's like, is a whole different, beast altogether. So no, no, not yet. I'm still waiting. I think because the theta decays Fed. Like, I'm really just waiting for the Fed. The minute we get some certainty on inflation coming down or the Fed pausing at least, and that they haven't made this huge policy error, I think I'll feel more confident. Mark says, "Did I lose weight?" Mark, make it my day. Did I lose weight? I don't think so. Yeah, I think you got me cheesing here a little bit. No, I don't think so. Paulo says Juju Gang is only divided on what the actual Juju is. That's true. Blueberries are not Juju. Bananas are not Juju. Grapes are not Juju. Citrus is Juju for sure. Yikes. You guys are hilarious. Well, Brit said I lost weight. I shaved my beard. Honestly, that could be part of it. For me, I kind of trimmed up. That could be part of it. Yes, Xander, I did. Pretty much like in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the stream. So, yeah, red wine is Juju too. Look, debatable. I'm not going to discriminate too hard. Whatever floats your boat. But if we want to be proper about it, it has to be citrus related. I guess if you took like marmalade, no, not marmalade. What is it called? Anyways, I'm not going to make even more of an idiot of myself than I have. All right. Much love, guys. I'm going to sign off here. Thanks for 440 viewers on a random Thursday. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. 221.45 sit on Tesla. Remember, my guest for the day, I hopefully I'm one of the top guesses, I guess, for the day is 224. That's Hive Day is 222.99. So we'll kind of see where we go from there. But you can blame me if it doesn't work out. All right. Much love. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sorry for being away. But I'm back now. We'll stream tomorrow for Power Hour, I think, as well. Right? Yeah, I think we should. I don't think I've missed a Power Hour for a long time, ever. But I hope everyone's doing well. Take care. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Be well. Be happy. Feel free to support the Juju Gang or become a Patreon if you want, channel member, whatever floats your boat. That will get you into our Discord, by the way. I see some people that join Patreon. Make sure that you connect your Discord account. If you don't know, Discord, it's the best community that we have for Tesla, in my opinion, on Discord. Connect it. It's a messaging app. People have asked me what Discord is. Trust me, I didn't know I never had a Discord account before I created a Discord server. So I feel you there. But connect it, please, because love to get more people in the Juju Gang in that Discord. All right. Much love. Take care, everyone. Peace out. And be well. Okay. Yashu, signing off 221.44 sitting on Tesla. Peace.